Three, two, one. We're live. Hey, podcast listening people. Connor Doobie here. Welcome. I'm with you every day of the week, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern. Join in. And I'm curious to hear from you, by the way. Typically, in the past, when I went live on LinkedIn, everybody would get notified in their notification center. I've noticed that seems to have changed recently. And so if you don't get notified, let me know. I'm curious. Share in the comments. If you're just randomly seeing this in your feed, let me know. As a marketer, it's helpful, right? As a marketer, you always got to be testing and you always got to be getting feedback, and things are always changing. So you can never so much rely on just one avenue forever. But I do want to hear from you guys. If you're seeing this in your news feed, drop in the comments. Let me know. If you actually got notified, then I want to know that as well. And if you want to see me, but you're not getting notified, make sure you're following me and make sure you have notifications turned on. So when you go to my LinkedIn profile, at the top of the profile, you can actually see that there's a notification bell. Make sure that's turned on. And that might be a change LinkedIn has made recently. LinkedIn with you LinkedIn, you always with those random changes. I appreciate you so much. So make sure you turn on the notifications if you want to see me. If I've ever brought you any value, you like my content, you dig my content, and you want to be here. With that, guys, I have a little bit of content topic to talk with you today. Let's roll. Hey guys, good to be with you. Don't forget you can listen on the go on all your favorite podcast apps. Just download, look up B2B Mentors. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. Hopefully you've been enjoying some of the guest interviews that we've had lately. They have been incredible. So if you've missed any of those will be published on the audio apps. And then I also come here with you in between doing guest interviews and do a solo show. Talk a little bit about marketing, business development, B2B sales, B2B business, business in general, life, and just kind of share what's going on and what I'm seeing through my eyes and our clients' eyes. And, hopefully a good chunk of this resonates with you. But I have a question for you. How's your content going? What's your experience been like so far trying to get your company's content done? I know from firsthand experience, even doing this myself, it's a challenge. And you really need content to fuel all of your other marketing efforts, whether you're doing paid ads, you're doing conferences, trade shows, you're doing PR, you're doing direct outreach, you name it. When one, you're reaching people and then those eyeballs are coming back to check you out. They're following you on social. They're maybe getting opted into your email list. What is the best way to stay in front of them? How do you nurture them? How do you continue to build that relationship and that trust and that, perception, albeit true perception, that you are the go-to expert in your industry to do business with? Timing, money, need, opportunity, all these things have to align for another company to be able to work with you and to do business with you. And so content is crucial. Content is currency in the modern digital world that we live in, right? The right valuable content that you put out into the world on your email list, on your website, on social media, in all of your key channels helps you to bring more in the door and helps you to stay in front of your clients as well. That's a whole nother dynamic of it, right? If your clients are not seeing your content, they're not seeing you show up, they're not learning from you and your company, well, who are they learning from? Chances are maybe your competitors, right? Give me a like, give me a comment if you agree with that. I see you guys. I appreciate you being here. And so what's your experience been like? Maybe you've tried In-house staff, right? I'm just thinking of the first one. In-house staff. Maybe you've tried vendors. Maybe you've tried contractors. You've tried to get it done in-house and you've tried a various number of vendors. And after those attempts that you've tried so far, is your content now flowing like the Mississippi, or is it as dry as the Arizona desert? Are you still behind on your content every month? Is it not getting, out consistently? Is the planning done in time? It's frustrating. It's time consuming. It's, it definitely takes a whole lot of effort and coordination to make it work. And for that, I definitely empathize with you. And so I want to share with you really the 3 ways to get your content done and actually talk about them a little bit in depth. So, number 1, I mentioned in-house. Now, a lot of people, when they're trying to do content in-house and trying to build it in their business or into their marketing department, they maybe have a marketing director, or maybe they have 3 or 4 people in marketing to get it done. And it's still not getting done, right? Maybe I'm a CEO president and you're the one who's watching this right now. And I thought, okay, I need to get content out there on a regular basis. So I'm going to go and hire a marketing director. So that's one avenue, is I'm going to build the entire staff. Like, I'm going to staff up and I'm going to build an entire in-house staff that's going to create my blogs, my newsletters, my videos, and my social media content. That is one potential avenue to do this. The other avenue is the hybrid model. I call it in-house / outhouse. And I always envision like a picture of an outhouse coming up, and I've used that in webinars before, and it's hilarious. It gets lots of laughs, I promise you. But the hybrid model. So maybe you have a few people who are in-house in your company who are actually creating the content or managing the process flow of creating content. And then you're using some outsiders, freelancers, maybe a freelance designer, maybe a freelance writer, a contracted writer, to fill in the gaps where you can't do it internally. And so that's a whole nother avenue, right? And has its pros and cons. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of both of them, but right now, really just addressing them. So that's another avenue to do this. If you're just kind of questioning, okay, how do I actually how do other companies go about getting this done? I've done hundreds of podcast interviews with top B2B marketers, CMOs, experts, and this is all being shared to me from them as well. So you have the hybrid model. And then third is the vendor option. So you completely outsource all of your content creation to a vendor, right? An agency, maybe it's a content agency, or it's a full service agency, or maybe your agency that's doing your AdWords also is doing your company's content. And so just purely 100% outsource is the third option. And if there's a fourth option, I mean, I know there's like AI and all this, but that still falls under the hybrid category and all that good stuff. And so, if I'm missing one, let me know. But those are really the 3 solid options to get this done. Now, what I want to do with you is I'm actually going to share and pull from some notes from a recent training I did and talk about what are the nuances of doing it this way. Well, number 1, and let me make sure, because I'm on a roll here and I want to make sure that everything check. Yeah. Okay. I've been having some weird microphone issues. By the way, guys, make sure you share this. If I'm bringing you a little bit of value today, bringing you a little bit of information, this is free to you. Make sure you share this. Drop a comment. Help spread the word, spread the reach. Like this post. I appreciate you. So, self-crafted in-house. Let's talk about this. If you're looking at any of the 3 options, this is probably the most expensive option. This is probably one of the pricier options. And the reason being is not only just pricey from a monetary perspective, but it's also pricey from a time perspective and from a resource perspective. When you're hiring people in-house, you've got the HR, you've got training, get them up to speed, you've got employee management, and you basically have to do everything to build it up from scratch, as well as develop the proper process. And I find a lot of companies struggle with this. Like we've worked with companies as large as CenturyLink before, and they have many number of marketers on their team, still couldn't get their newsletter done. And so we went in there and helped to get their newsletter done. I'm not selling myself on that yet, but there's a lot of processes that have to go into place. And so unless you have like a complete turnkey know-how, like if I have an in-house team that does bing, 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 and bing, and they start with this, and this is the end result, then it might work out for you. But there is a lot of orchestrating. Now, the other challenge that I found with this is when an in-house marketing team is trying to pull their content off, but they're also managing other campaigns. They've got events, they've got webinars, they've got trainings happening. It ends up getting kicked down the road. And so the inconsistency is there, right? It's not enough to just post one blog a month or just get one video out a month or one a quarter. Every single week, you got to consistently be out there communicating. And so if I get pulled and stuck into other bigger projects that I'm working on, or I get pulled away from that effort, then I may end up having to spend my nights and weekends writing my blog articles and writing copy and recording and editing videos. And so there's definitely some companies that can pull this off 100%. It works for them. But as you're maybe deciding what direction to go from watching this and thinking about it, there's definitely a mini number of roadblocks to trying to pull it off, and cost especially too. The other thing is it's so easy to get close to what you do. Like it's almost too easy to get very, very close knit with what it is that you do in your business, your messaging. It's very easy to get too close to your messaging. I do it all the time, right? You know exactly what you want to say, but you're too close to it to be able to communicate it effectively. And so that makes it also difficult to come up with topics, to come up with something that from an outsider's perspective, it may make sense to you and your team internally, but it doesn't make sense when you actually go and you get it in front of your audience. Now, the second method, the hybrid model. So let's talk about in-house / outhouse, right? Now, this is a little on the lesser expensive side of things. And, there's some great benefits to this because you can scale it and you can scale it up and scale it back as you please. But the other thing is you're having to still manage and project manage and still coordinate and collaborate on the entire flow of all the content creation that's happening. The other thing, and I literally was just having a conversation today with a marketing director in a company, been working with a writer, for quite a while. Got a sneeze coming. It's coming. That's the worst. Knew it was coming. My God. Oh, this is the beauty of doing live streams, right? You just got to roll with it. There's no editing. Just going to roll forward. So I was literally talking to a marketing director today. They've been working with a writer for a while. Now, the process was working for them, but the writer got hired at another company and couldn't produce for them anymore. They also had various graphic designers that they're outsourcing to who were freelancers, and they had to keep swapping them out because they would get too busy with other clients, or they would up and leave, or they'd change their career direction. And so this model, many companies, I would say probably the majority of companies use some form of the hybrid model, but I've still found at the end of the day, it results in lackluster content. It's inconsistent. The quality may not be there because you've got kind of a solopreneur with not as much infrastructure to back them to be able to keep things moving, forward smoothly for you. And I've heard many number of times too that, okay, we hired this writer and our content's going to get done, right? And then they end up giving their client the blog and they have to do all the editing and the quality control and the copy editing and the redesigning and all of that themselves. which again takes away from higher priority marketing activities that they may have been working on otherwise. And so again, definitely not a negative, but there are definitely yins and yangs to doing both of those options. Same with outsourcing. There are a lot of horror stories I have heard from companies outsourcing their content to other businesses. And, be it from the organization was bad, they made us work a lot more. They were charging us for like 4x what we felt like we were getting delivered. They were just taking content from elsewhere on the internet and then like giving it over to us. And oftentimes, I've heard like, well, it's pricier, which it depends. It really depends who you're working with. In some cases, I've seen agencies charging like 15 grand a month to get like 4 blogs done for a company. And that's a little aggressive, right? So some of that bad practice happens out there. And then the process of organizing too. You find a lot of outsourced agencies so that they can increase their margins will outsource to like, overseas writers for $10 an article, $20 an article. They'll package it up, wrap it up, and then give it to their client. If you're in a high dollar B2B sale, if you're in a company that's selling B2B and you have a very sophisticated customer that is actually interested in reading your content and learning from you, then it's got to hit the mark, right? It's got to be spot on. It's got to work. Otherwise, you could turn away that potential customer. And part of that is a simple fix, but you decided to go the cheap route for it. I'll explain a little bit here that there is these 3 different avenues to be able to do it. But ultimately, you got to decide what's best for you. And you can't let past experiences kind of dictate your future, right? Let's say, for example, you've tried to build it in-house before and you've totally given up on it. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but maybe you just didn't go about it the right way. Maybe you didn't have the right staff. Or on the flip side, you've tried to go with another vendor and they just totally, like, you left completely convinced there's nobody in the world who can write our content for us because we are so unique. There's nobody that can do it. It's kind of like if any of you watching this, like if you're married, right? And, did you stop after your first bad date and just decide I'm never going to date again until you found that right match? I've gone through this too with various vendors I've hired. I've had to go through a number of different vendors till I found the right one. It's kind of the name of the game when you're outsourcing or just doing anything in your business. It takes trial and error. Got to see what works for you. And sometimes something that has worked for you in the past may have changed. So I'll give you an example. And this is what's made us very successful over the years in actually creating custom B2B content for our clients is it really comes down to people. And I know a lot of people say that, but it truly does come down to people and it comes down to process. There is a very specific process that we've cracked, which we started developing. I mean, literally we've been in business 22 years and we cracked this over 20 years ago and have just continuously refined on it. And it's worked. It's worked across 70 industries with many number of B2B clients and many number of those clients continuously doing content with us for some of them 5, 6, and even 10 plus years straight. It's crazy. And the reason being process and people. So I'll give you a bit of an insight. Like, let's say you're considering building this in-house again, right? You're considering building this with your internal team. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes of the actual staff and the staffing roster that we have in-house, right? These are highly trained, experienced people that are in our company as full-time employees to be able to get content done for our clients. So we have a project coordinator. All they do is manage the whole flow of the content production process in organizing, planning, and, basically getting all of the data and the details and the research and the right people together to get it done. We also have an entire research and interview team. We have a quality control editor, and the the managing editor oversees all of our writers. And so not only are there writers, but there's a managing editor that's overseeing the production of the writers. So, because we found, okay, you just hire a writer and your content's not getting done. Quality control editor, technical writers, graphic designer, and promotions experts, as well as a quality control editor. I said editor, but there's also the managing editor. So I mixed the two up. But there's this infrastructure that has to go in place to get your content done effectively. People are maybe just trying to get it done and think that it's just you snap a finger and you get your content, or you just go hire a freelancer and your, company's important messaging is going to get done. Because at the end of the day, let's say you're even doing a blog post. Well, in order to get that blog done, you still need the graphic design. You still need the SEO. You still need the writing and the planning and the content calendaring and the distribution to make your content plan work. So that's it, guys. I mean, those are really the three avenues. And if you are going to build them, I wanted to give you a little bit behind the scenes in terms of the actual infrastructure that we know works. We've put into place. You can apply it yourself, whether it is with the hybrid model or it is completely in-house, or you're going to a vendor. If you're talking to a content vendor, now you know what kind of questions to ask them to make sure that your content's going to get done effectively via your friends here at Active Blogs who have been pulling it off for 20 years. Now, I want to share something new with you. I actually have an offer for you that are watching this, still here with me. Maybe you're listening to the audio. Is our new initiative. Over the years, we have just been, felt the frustration of our clients, similar to probably a position you might be in right now, who have tried and tried again to get their content done, still couldn't get it done. We are so confident that we're able to do it for you that we have now, like literally at the beginning of this week, put this into place, have put together what we call our Active Blogs 100% satisfaction guarantee. So we are so confident that we are able to get content done for your B2B business. If you need your blogs done, if you need your newsletter done, you need video views, you need graphics, you need your content, your LinkedIn feeds filled with very high quality B2B content, you can try getting it done with us completely risk-free. There is zero risk on your part to attempt to do content with us. And very, 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 very rare do we ever have a client leave us simply because we could not write content for their business or for their industry or produce for their industry. Usually there's outside factors, budget changes, whatever. So here's what I want you to do. If this resonated with you and you're still stuck in the position of, man, I get it. I've tried all these avenues, I'm willing to try the Active Blogs route and the infrastructure they put into place, go to activeblogs.com. We will guarantee your satisfaction. There's no risk to you, or we will return your money in your program, in your first month program. So if we get 30 days into your program, you're unhappy, we will refund your money. That's how confident we are that we will be able to pull this off. We were thinking about this, like, why have we not done this a long time ago? Because we're so enthusiastic about the great work we've done for our clients. And the trickiest part is, like you, who've maybe been on the fence before and just you've seen us, you've heard what we do, but you just haven't taken the step to take the leap. Well, we're going to take all the risk out for you. So go to activeblogs.com, fill out the What I Need Fast form at the top of the page. Let us know what you're interested in. We'll follow up with you. We'll schedule a no-cost consultation, and we will get together and work on the content plan of your dreams and guarantee the satisfaction and your happiness of us getting that done for you. Maybe you've just put out a job ad for someone who you thought would do this internally, but consider what I've shared here. Maybe you're out there hunting constantly for another vendor. Or the other thing is, realize many other agencies who provide content also do a handful of other things. And not that that's necessarily bad, but when you compare it to what we do, where our sole focus and our entire business is built up on content and getting content done for our clients versus doing all aspects of your marketing efforts for you, you find a much higher quality and a much more attention to detail in what you're getting out of it. So with that, my friends, hope you enjoyed. If you're interested, go to activeblogs.com, fill out the What I Need Fast form at the top of the page. If you have any questions, DM me, and make sure you comment, make sure you share this, forward this to anybody who you think should see this video. And I appreciate you guys. Much love. Make it great. I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.